Welcome to She Can and She Will. I'm Marianne, also known as the Country Mompreneur, and I'm joined by my co-host, Disa McAllister. We are moms, work-from-home experts, and we love helping women take control of their lives and see all the possibilities. On this show, you will learn from us as well as other women who kick butt in their lives and want to help you do the same. So sit back and get ready for some fun. Are back with She Can and She Will, and we are being joined today by Lindy Rock, the CEO of Rock Solid Administration. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So if you wanted to start, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, sure. So I've been the CEO and founder of Rock Solid Administration for we're going on 9 years now. We're a virtual assistant agency, and I'm based out of Canada, so Calgary, Alberta. And I've been doing kind of online work for about 12 years. And at the time I was working full time and also working part time online, doing stuff for friends. And then I got laid off. So I decided that would be a good time to kind of jump into my own business. And it actually started doing really well. And now I have an agency. So I have other people working for me who also help clients all over North America.
That's very awesome. I feel like I've been doing virtual work for about 15 years myself. And I feel like I tell people I've worked virtually before it was cool. Okay.
I say that so often.
Do you feel like since COVID, you've got an influx of people that want to work with you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've had a lot of people who have started reaching out more now. And it's definitely become more popular. When I first started doing virtual assistant work, people would be like, what even is that?
Yeah. You just have to explain it to people before.
Yeah. And now people are approaching me and being, oh, I heard you're a virtual assistant. Can you tell me more about what you do and how you do it? And so, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, we have so much to do every day. Do you have any procrastination tips to kind of help our viewers and what works for you guys?
Yeah, sure. So, to be honest, procrastination there's always a reason for it, right? It's generally something you don't necessarily want to do, or it's something that you put off doing because it's going to take your focus and you don't have the focus for it in the moment, right? So my biggest tip is always your first task of every day should be the one thing that you're going to put off for the rest of the day. You just do that first to get it out of the way, right? I actually time block it in my calendar every morning to make sure that I go in and check my emails and respond to specific emails, because that is the thing I hate doing them.
That's so true.
So I time block my calendar. The first thing I do is sit down and it pops up on my computer, check your emails, respond to these ones. So I'm really a big believer in time blocking for those situations, but I'm also a big believer in time blocking off time in your day to walk away from your computer, which helps with that focus, right? It helps bring you back around. So I have 15-minute breaks blocked into my day where I literally will get up, go get a glass of water and do a lap around my house. And, I have my walk with my dog to go and take my dog out. Every day at 1:00, I go out and take my dog for a walk.
Oh, nice. I love that kind of routine. Yeah.
It really is. And I think that's the biggest thing is once it becomes a routine, it just feels like normal, right? And it doesn't seem like such a drain of your energy because it's just what you do.
Okay, so now let's talk about multitasking. I'll do it. I have 2 computers going at all times, so I'm very guilty of it. What are some of the right ways to do it?
First of all, I don't believe that multitasking, there is necessarily a right way to do it, because whenever you're multitasking, you're not focusing on either task fully. So for me, I really believe in focusing on one task at a time. That being said, I know that can be hard because, you do get urgent things that pop up that happen that you weren't expecting in the day. So you do sometimes have to multitask, but especially being a virtual assistant, I can't work for 2 clients at the same time because that's unfair to the clients, right? We have to use their hours when we're using their hours and use somebody else's hours when we're using theirs. So, I I use Clockify to track time on what I'm doing tasks. And I think that that's a really good way for people to figure out what tasks are taking up the most time in their day and then help them time block that into their day, right? So using something like Clockify, or I think there's another one called Toggle or something like that, but it's just a task tracking app that you can turn on when you're doing it. Type in what you're doing, and then that way you can actually like see, okay, these are the tasks I'm doing. This is when I'm multitasking. Why am I multitasking at this time of day? Can I split that up into 2 separate tasks without having to multitask and still not add an hour onto my day, right? So it's hard to say. You can multitask in a sense that, you can have an upload going to YouTube and at the same time writing a summary of something else and run back to YouTube to check on it. And that kind of multitasking is okay. But answering emails, talking on the phone, and and walking, we're going to probably run into something, right?
Oh my goodness,
so dangerous.
So along that note, I know we all work virtually, and so I just know how this stuff can kind of pile on. So how do you say no when it just gets to be a lot to handle?
Oh my goodness, that is actually that is so hard. Especially when you work for yourself and you're like, well, this is, this could be good for my business and it'll get me out there and people will talk about it. And, but at the same time, I think that the biggest way we can be true to ourselves and really have that self-care is being able to just say, I really wish that I could do that right now. It's just not feasible right this minute. Would you be able to push the project for a month or find another time? And if they can't, they can't. And that's totally understandable. That being said, I stopped saying no when I started getting people on my team who I could trust to be able to take on those projects from me so that I didn't have to have it all on my shoulders. So I don't say no as often as I used to. But saying no is a big thing. I have said no because I feel like I'm not aligned with a client or because I don't feel like I can give them what their expectations are. And that is actually a very humbling experience too, to be able to say, you know what, I see what you want and I realize that your expectations are beyond what I'm able to give you. Therefore, I'm going to recommend these people that you talk to. That's a big thing. Whenever I say no, I always have recommendations for them for somebody to talk to, because it just, again, keeps you in their mind that you're trying to be helpful, right? You're not just being like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah. And that you're focused too, right? Like it's not these other things. It's like, it's literally like things that are aligned with you. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So something we ask everybody in every podcast, what are some key ways that you stay organized?
I use ClickUp. It's a program and I put everything into ClickUp. And then, like I said, Clockify is my other program where I put all of my tasks that I'm doing throughout the day. It helps me stay organized on what I've done in a day. And then also if clients ask, where's this project at? I can be like, okay, well, this is where we're at this project because, I know from ClickUp that I've clicked it off to it's in progress and I put notes in. And so ClickUp is my biggest way to stay organized. And then my other one is time blocking my day, which I know everybody makes fun of me for, but
no, that's actually very smart to do because you can really, you can think going into your day that you can get 10 things done when realistically you can get 5 if you time block and actually give the time appropriately that each task would take.
And I think that's where something like Clockify comes in really handy because then you know how long each task is going to take. If you only use it for a week or 2 weeks just to see what you're actually spending your time on, it is really eye-opening how much of your time you're probably spending on tasks that you never thought you spent on them.
Right.
And then you can time block and then you can put stuff like that in ClickUp and know that you have, okay, well, if I'm going to take on a website project, it's going to take me this many hours and I can do it in this time frame.
Awesome.
That's perfect.
I like it.
So how can people reach out to you and work with you? And
well, they can reach out to me on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at rocksolidadmin. And then we have a website, rocksolidadministration.com.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, Lindy Rock, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
Thank you for listening. She Can and She Will is a Country Mompreneur production. Audio mix by Marianne. Research by Disa McAllister. To learn more about this and other Country Mompreneur productions, visit thecountrymompreneur.com.